Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my project today uses this new stamp set from the new annual catalog, Plentiful Plants, and also Perfect Plants dies. I also used the Bloom Where You're Planted Designer Series paper, and this holds, if I just open up the ribbon, this holds the big Tic Tacs. These are extra freeze strong mint, which they had these in Dollar Tree, if you can believe it. But they have them in Target and Walmart and the drugstores with all the other flavors too. And sometimes different ones at the holidays. But it fits in there nicely. The box, including the top, is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4 by 1 1/2. But if you count just the box part, it's 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 by 1 1/2. Okay? And I also used one of the, what's the name? Loose flower flourishes in there. So I like it. I like the stamp set a lot. And the dies, I love this. We actually just bought one of these little macrame holders for my new kitchen. That's not quite together yet, but it's getting there. It's a process, right? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, for this project, we need a piece of Smokey Slate that is 8 inches by 6 1/2. A scrap piece of basic white for stamping. A strip of 1/2 inch gray granite, which is actually the piece that you cut off of the 8 inch. It's 8 1/2. That side, I just used the piece that I cut off of the 8 1/2 by 11 to make it 8. Okay, and you need of the Bloom Where You're Planted Designer Series paper, you need 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 3 1/4. 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. And 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 3/4. All right, and that's all of the paper that we need. Alrighty, so I'm just going to get my Simply Scored. Alrighty, and we're going to work on the 8 inch side first. Okay, and we're going to score at 1/2, 2 3/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/2. Okay, and then we're going to turn it to the 6 1/2 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/2, 5, and 6. Okie doke. Okay, and now I'm just going to fold and burnish. I'm not going to fold this top one because it's the skinny rectangle, because it's going to actually go the other way. But I'm going to do all the rest in the shorter skinny rectangle. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. Alrighty. So we're going to start with the skinny rectangles, the longer one at the top and the shorter one on the left-hand side. Okay, and we're going to start down here on the left-hand side, and we're going to get rid of this rectangle that's on the bottom. So just cut the side of this rectangle straight and then just wedge up a little bit to get rid of that one. Okay, so that's what we did there. Okay, and then we're going to continue along the bottom. We're going to go to the other side of this rectangle and cut it straight. We're going to wedge the square, but I'm going to go to the other side of the square first, cut the side of this rectangle straight, and then I'm going to wedge both sides of the square. Okay. All right, and then we're going to go to the other side of the rectangle, cut that straight, and wedge the square that's at the end. Okay, so that's what we did on the bottom so far. Okay, now we're going to turn it so that the skinny rectangles are on the right hand side and the bottom. And we're going to get rid of this square and rectangle that's on the lower right hand side. So we're just going to cut it straight on one edge and then wedge down into this skinny rectangle over here. Okay, now these are going to be our two flaps, the two rectangles with the rectangle on top. So those have to be straight on the sides. Okay, now this here, it's two rectangles. We're going to treat this as a square. We're going to get rid of the piece that's on the top. Okay, and then just wedge a little bit out of each side of that rectangle, because that's going to be our inside flaps at the top. Okay, so then we'll just move down past this flap, cut the side of that flap straight, take off the top rectangle off of this other inside flap, and then we're just going to wedge the sides of this. Okay, and that's all the cutting. So if you wanted to take a screenshot, just remember in this picture, the skinny rectangles would be at the top and the left side. Alrighty. Now we need the detail trio punch, and we're just going to round the corners of both of the flaps. Alright. Okay, and then we need some tear and tape, and we're going to put it on the, on the skinny rectangle close to, that's on the side, that's on the, when we're in landscape, as close to the score line as you can get without touching it. My tape is all the way up there, but the cover came off. I pulled it off by accident. All right, so the tape is right here. We're going to flip it over. Flip that part with the tape over and fold the other flap to meet it. Okay, so this is the back. So we're going to put the side ones in and the back, and this is where we need to put more tear and tape to close the bottom. Okay, and just make sure that everything's straight, and then flip it over and just kind of hit it. Make sure that everything adheres down there. Okay. Now we're just going to put our Tic Tacs in. Okay, now we can gently bend these towards the outside, the top of the flaps, okay? And they'll meet just like that. Okay, and I'm going to use a 1/8 inch circle punch. And I'm just going to try to keep this nicely together while I do it. And I'm just going to punch 2 holes in the middle. Okay. Alrighty. Now I need our gray granite shimmer ribbon, which carried over from the last, I'm not sure if it was last year's catalog or a mini. I think it was last year's annual. I'm going to put it through the front, and then back through to the, from the back to the front again. And I'm just going to tie a simple bow here. Alrighty. Now we need our DSP. And we need, again, I'll tell you, 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 3 1/4, and they're going to go on the front and the back. And I'm going to use liquid glue. Okay. And then we need 2 that are 1 1/4 by 3 1/4, and they're for each side. Okay, and then we have 2 that are 1 1/4 by 3/4, and they're going to go on the very top, the flaps. Okay, now we're going to do some stamping. So we need our piece of Whisper White, Basic White now. And first we'll do the leaves, and I'm going to use this image here. Okay, what I did on this is I just cut it apart so that I could put some in the front and some behind. Alrighty, so I used Garden Green ink and my Stampin' Pierce mat. Great. Okay. And then for the inside pot, I used this image here with Smokey Slate Ink. Okay. And then on that 1/2 inch piece of gray Smoky Slate, sorry, I'm going to put the Love You sentiment, and I'm going to use Tuxedo Black. Good. Okay. Alrighty, and I already cut them out earlier, so we don't need these, but I'll save them for another project. Okay, and this is what we have. I also cut out the macrame from Basic White from using the dies. All right, now I'm just going to get my scissor, and I'm just going to take these apart. You can cut them kind of evenly, so it's not really apparent that they've been cut. Okay, and what I did first is just make sure this lines up nicely, because I cut it a little bit off last time, and I had to, no, it's good this time, I think. All right, so I'm just going to put some glue on all of these little crisscrosses. Let me get my silicone mat so I stop getting it on my pad here. And I'm just going to put a little bit, a few dots, if this will come out. Okay. I don't want to overload it because it will definitely squeeze out. So I'm just kind of letting a little squeeze out and then running the tip all along. Okay. And I'm just going to place it right on top of the pot. Just like that. Okay. And then I brought the one with the piece with the 3 leaves over, and I stuck one of this left-hand leaf behind with the stem. All right, and that's how I got that part. Oh, I just noticed that on this one I didn't smooth out when I cut it. There we go. All right, and then I just flipped it over, and then I put a little bit of glue on the stem. Flipped it back, and then put it exactly where I wanted it to be. And I made sure that this came on the front. Alrighty, the leaf on the right hand side I put in front of the line that's in the middle of the macrame. Alrighty, and then I just stuck this one behind on the other side. Behind these, but in front of this piece. Right like that. Okay, so just flip it over, or actually on this one it was easier to just take it off because it didn't have to be intertwined. And then I'm just going to put it right like that until I like it. Just move it around a little bit until you like what you see. Okay. And that's it for that. Okay, now I used a whole bunch of dimensionals for this. I put one small dimensional over this dot because I'm going to take a little metallic pearl and put it right in there. So I just wanted a little one just right over there, right over the hole. And that's it on that. And then I just used regular dimensionals, oops, where I could fit them. Okay, and then I just cut off on the edge. For this one, just so that every leaf has something holding on to it. Okay, then I just put it right on. Okay, now I put a silver metallic dot right in the middle at the top. There we go. And I just took the Love You and I just cut it by eye. Just left a little room on either side. And I glued that right up here. And I just centered that right there. Okay, and for the finishing touch, I used one of these little loose flower flourishes. I just needed a little pop of color. So I took a glue dot and a large pink one. There's two sizes of these in 3 colors. And I just put one right down on there just to give a little brightness because it's pretty monochromatic besides the green. And that's it. I hope you like this and it's useful to you. I would love it if you needed any Stampin' Up! Supplies, if you would purchase through me, if you need a demonstrator, or you can just do a one-time purchase through me. And please, if you are a demonstrator or a customer, subscribe and hit the like button. And I will see you next time. Enjoy your day. Bye.